Here is my cheat code for exactly how you're going to start balancing your hormones. What's your story? I have lost over 100 pounds, reversed prediabetes, and managing PCOS. Let's talk through how to start balancing your hormones realistically without doing anything extreme. And we're gonna do this while I'm getting ready to go to lunch. I'm actually going to lunch with my father-in-law today for a belated Father's Day little celebration. And while I get ready, I want to talk through tangible, actionable steps you can start to implement in more of like a waterfall phased approach where you're not going to feel overwhelmed. It's very realistic, and I think you will start seeing relief of hormonal symptoms within 90 days. And I say that as a benchmark. It generally takes the body 90 days to turn over or create new cells, new blood, or like, what was it? If you're getting blood work done, I believe it's done in a cycle of 90 days. Same thing if you're implementing major changes with new supplements, new vitamins, new medicine, it's usually like a 90-day cycle. And so I'm going to preface with the same for you. And this is purely through my own experience with different things I have implemented along my PCOS and blood sugar regulating journey. And so I also want to share with you the things that I did to prevent you from failing or wasting time, effort, energy, or money on things that don't work or can make your symptoms worse instead of helping you. So let's get into it. The first thing that I would do if I were trying to balance my hormones before buying supplements, before starting a new meal plan or way of eating or exercising, the number one thing I would do is get a full blood work panel so that you have objective data and evidence to benchmark off of. Otherwise, you are walking blind and you may be applying things to you that might not necessarily fix the root cause, the systemic issue of what has triggered your hormones to be imbalanced in the first place. And I say that because when I was first diagnosed with PCOS, my blood work panels were fine, but I still had cysts on my ovaries. This is when I was fresh into my PCOS journey, rather. And then as I got older and time went on, different variables in my blood work would change. Maybe my PCOS symptoms improved, but my blood work worsened, or maybe my blood work was better, but I had more cysts or more flare-ups or more swelling and inflammation. You need to benchmark off of your own data, not what people are saying online. Yeah, you can have external variables that are pretty obvious, like unwanted facial hair on like your breast area, really painful periods, super heavy bleeding, irregular periods, I can't even articulate the frustration I'm trying to say, but like weight gain that doesn't make sense, okay? To keep it super simple and straight, I asked for a full panel of my blood work, and that will look different for each doctor. So I don't want to give a blanket, like a boilerplate of what you should ask for, because it's going to vary based on your health insurance, what's covered. And I only had her do the things I knew would be covered under my healthcare. That's where I started, and then my OBGYN added a few other variables she thought that she wanted to look for to make sure I was okay. And so baseline tip to start healing your hormones, you have to know where you're starting based on objective data specific to your body, your genetics, your age, your environment, your weight, your height, specific to you. I love all the PCOS awareness that's online, but I also think it can induce fear and hysteria unnecessarily. You might think that you have something that someone else is projecting or sharing, whether it be informative or out of place of fear to try to sell y'all some programs and stuff, which is a whole nother conversation. Girl, no, okay? Like, you need to get your blood work done. And I don't know where you're at economically, if you have healthcare insurance. Nowadays, you can self-order labs if you don't have insurance, where you get specific labs to like the 3 things you really need to know. Sometimes you can go to holistic schools and they have like discounted labs you can get done. It's going to vary by state. And again, this is not my domain to speak upon, but I would do your research if you don't know where to start on where can I get a full panel for hormonal labs as a female, and start there. And then you want to baseline off of what parameters should you be in. And then you want to start implementing strategies to fix certain parameters. And my next tip is don't go crazy trying to fix your blood work all at once. Pick one area, probably the highest exposure risk for yourself, and then try to reduce that down over time. Meaning give yourself 90 days minimum to 6 months to see improvements. And you're gonna wanna follow guidance from a doctor ideally, depending on what you're fixing. Like if you are trying to work on cholesterol and your A1C, like perhaps during the pre-diabetic range the way I was, that is something readily tangible that you can action on your own without medical intervention, just through nutrition, lifestyle changes, right? But like depending on the severity of your symptoms, you may need medical intervention where your doctor says, hey, we got to put you on a medication. You know what I mean? So use leverage data, leverage practitioners, okay? And then the next thing I would do, and I did this even in my 20s, I went and got my blood work done as a part of my annual PAP, and that's when I found out, hey, something's wrong. And without that data, I would have never known where to start. I was anemic at the time, so I started focusing on implementing enough vitamin D3 plus K2 and the right IU dosage for my body. And at the time, I was living in Chicago and I was anemic because, girl, there's no sun out there. So I had to do like double the amount that most people would take. So number one, get your blood work done. Benchmark off of that, create a baseline for yourself, and then create a timeline for when you need to see improvements. So I would schedule a follow-up with my doctor every 3 to 6 months. Most doctors will say 6 months to really give your body time to adjust and adapt to new changes. So I would schedule a bi-quarterly meetup with my doctor to track progress, measurable progress, and I would reduce the noise. I would not be watching a ton of social media and implementing a bunch of stuff, okay? Unless it makes sense for what you're working through. The next thing I would do is I would take inventory on my nutrition, meaning, am I eating in a conducive way for what I'm trying to support? PCOS, there's different flavors and layers of PCOS. There's some women that are insulin resistant. There are some women that are having super heavy, painful periods. There's some women where their systems are more so cystic acne. There is different varieties and flavors of PCOS. It's not a blanket statement. For me, I have tons of cysts on my ovaries, but God willing, I have a regular period with regular bleed. I'm not having like this catastrophized period experience. However, I do have facial hair. I do have cystic acne that comes up sometimes if I'm not stewarding myself appropriately. So the point is understand what nutrition is causing your flare-ups. And if you're here more so to understand how to regulate your blood sugar, because this is all inherently correlated, right? Insulin resistance is correlated to PCOS, which is correlated to blood sugar regulation. You know, there's some really intense things people say online. Like the other day I saw someone say that PCOS is diabetes of the ovaries, and it kind of disrupted my spirit. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're right. To be frank, I'm not certain, but I think statements like that, and it gives a sense of fear, right? It's another disease. It's another really strong thing to claim for such a sensitive topic. So I'm going off on this tangent to say, bestie, audit who and what you're following and just be really mindful. Like if someone triggers you, be healthy and unfollow or mute them for a while, or really understand, does their content serve you, or is it a sense of fear mongering because they're trying to get you to sign up for coaching or buy a meal plan or fill in the blank. Like protect your mind and your peace, and only like follow people that give you peace or that make sense for you. You don't have to subscribe to everything. And I say that because you don't have to subscribe to everyone's approach to nutritionals and nourishment. PCOS, someone asked me, do I have to be low carb? Do I have to be high carb? It's going to vary based on what I just said. Depending on what you're where you're at on the spectrum of PCOS, you're going to have different dietary needs. And I say that because carbohydrate, I have noticed over the years of having PCOS, I could tolerate carbohydrates way better a few years ago in comparison to now. After having the pre-diabetes be something I had to overcome, my body does not tolerate carbs well anymore. And I know this because I use objective data. I wear a continuous glucose monitor, and it shows me in real time how my body reacts. My body doesn't clear carbs easily or fast. And if I do enjoy carbs, like pleasure, like go out to lunch, like I'm gonna go out to lunch in 10 minutes here, and enjoy myself and I have carbs, I will be present in the moment. I, of course, will apply my methodology for reducing insulin spike, and I'll do the best I can. But I know that tomorrow my blood sugar is going to be more elevated than it usually would be because my body's still trying to partition and understand what to do with the excess carbs. Unfortunately. Does it mean I can't have them? No, but I just have to be mindful, right? So again, understand the nutrition your body needs. I would encourage everyone, not everyone, it depends on your familiarity with food, with energy, with macros, with really understanding your body. If you're net new to this, objective data is going to help you. Like, does everyone need a CGM in their arm? No. I just adopted the discipline of a CGM like 2 quarters ago. But thank goodness I did it. Otherwise, I don't think I could have reversed prediabetes without that data, because I didn't know what my body was doing. I didn't know how my body was reacting. I didn't learn what nutrition served me until I had data to make informed decisions off of. So I will always encourage people to use data to make your decisions if that is something that's available to you. So I started with blood work and then focus on nutrition. And when I say that, understand your benchmarks for nutrition. Understand how many carbs you can have without flare-ups or without making your blood sugar go crazy. These are all things that take time. It took me about 3 months to really understand my tolerance for carbohydrates. My body runs better off of high fat, high protein. No. My body operates better off of high fat, moderate protein, high fiber, lower carbohydrate. And I'm not saying that to be for you. I'm just saying that's what works for me at this point in time. Now, I am recomping my body, which is going to lead me to my next point. I am actually recomping my body to add more muscle. So I want to talk to you ladies about this if you have the appetite to learn. So you do have to let me know if you're interested, but you should be adjusting your style of workouts like every few months so your body doesn't get used to it. Even with PCOS, I still do low impact workouts, but I have seasons. So I just came out of a season of basically only walking with some resistance. And then I went into a season of a little bit more Pilates. And now I'm going into a push season where I want to put on more definition and muscle. So I'm going to reduce the amount of walking I'm doing so I can strategically put on muscle to increase metabolism, to increase my body's ability to handle more carbohydrates, because with the data I have seen, my body has regressed in its ability to tolerate more carbs, and I want to help support it. So I need to put on more muscle so that my body has the ability to burn through more energy, right? Because I have a very sedentary lifestyle with my career. And although walking is movement and exercise and it's nourishing metabolically, I am not seeing the progress I would want with my blood response to certain foods. And I know that's because I have not been prioritizing muscle gain, and that was intentional. I needed to de-stress my body for a few months. So now I'm going to be shifting. This is point number 4, I think, shifting my workout based on the season and based on what I'm working on. So now I'm working on muscle growth, which means now that I've understood my nourishment requirements, right? I have my baseline for nourishment. What am I going to do with that in terms of metabolic function, in terms of my workouts and movement? Because it all has interoperability. All of these, think of it as systems. They all speak to each other in your body. And metabolically, the more muscle you have, the better your body is going to respond to different stressors, foods, and environmental changes. And so for me, what that's going to look like is I will be strength training 3 to 4 days per week now of true strength training. Actually, I will be strength training 3 days a week, 30-minute strength training sessions, and then maybe 1 or 2 light Pilates sessions. And then I'm going to scope down the amount of steps I'm taking, where my baseline will probably be 9 to 10,000 steps a day instead of 15 to 20,000. So notice the shift I'm doing, because too much cardiovascular, although low impact, can impede on your body's ability to put on muscle consistently if you're going through your reserves too frequently. So what am I doing? I need to put on my highlight. We have to leave. Husband, when do we have to leave? In 6 minutes? Okay. Sorry, I'm filming for the besties, so I can't check my text. Okay, I'll be ready in 6 minutes. Okay, I gotta make this fast. What was I saying? Okay, by the way, if you want me to share the workouts I'm doing, I do save all of my workouts on a playlist here. Oh, I'm still gonna be walking. I was gonna open up my Spotify. Comment down below if you ladies want me to share my Spotify playlist with you. I have a prayer walk playlist on Spotify, and then I have just like good vibes, feel good. But like, girl, I love my outdoor walks so much. And so if you ladies want my playlist, let me know and I will open it up to be public and I will link it for you. So yeah, let's recap. Let's calibrate. Blood work, nutrition, figuring out what movement serves you. That's also why I like the continuous glucose monitor. It will show you if your body is stressed out during workout. And like, yeah, workouts will stress your body naturally. It's a natural cortisol response. Like, your body doesn't know if you're running from a bear or you're doing at-home Pilates, right? It's just a reaction. However, how long your cortisol stays spiked will let you know if a workout is serving you or hurting you. I love Peloton. I love Peloton rides. However, it makes me so upset. This is also why I'm doing strength training for a few months to like get my muscle endurance back up. Peloton rides stress my body out. Like, my cortisol will spike and it will stay spiked for like an hour, which is not good. Hold on, I cannot talk and do this. Oh my gosh, we have to leave in 6 minutes. This is crazy. So I did cancel my Peloton membership for the foreseeable next 4 months while I'm gonna be focusing on strength training, at home strength training. Girl, you couldn't pay me to go in a commercial gym anytime soon. Commercial gyms stress me out. But objective data will tell you if your exercise is hurting you, if you can take on more, if you need a deload, increase. And that's actually how I learned that my body cannot tolerate HIIT workouts. HIIT, high intensity workouts, aggravate my lots of things. Number one, exercise should induce some level of healthy inflammation, but for me, I would have like really bad pain in my body. My ovulation would always be a lot more painful than it should be whenever I did more HIIT workouts. And again, those triggers and systemic reactions are going to be different for each person. So someone may be, not agree with me that I think HIIT workouts are not sufficient for women with PCOS or dysregulated blood sugar. Do your own data calibration and you tell me if you agree or not, because every time I have a little bit more energy and I try to be cute and do one, I'm wiped on my back. Like, I'm fatigued the rest of the day. The following day, I will sleep like garbage. Nothing feels good. I'll need like 3 cups of coffee to finish my day. Like, HIIT workouts wipe me out. What I recommend for women with PCOS or dysregulated blood sugar, or even just trying to regulate their nervous system, low impact. Okay, we actually have to leave, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Comment if you want a part 2 to this. Unfortunately, I thought I was gonna be able to sit down longer, but I do wanna get something out for you ladies. I love you guys so much. You girls are amazing. You girls, I feel like you guys hold me like literally a hug. I love you girls. Who just walked in front of our house? No, I actually love you girls, and you all coming through in the comments and having my back and supporting me has been unreal. But if what I've shared so far has been helpful, comment and I'll keep going. We'll do another sit down girl chat. Oh shoot, I forgot to put on my eyeshadow on my waterline. I recently switched to non-toxic makeup, and I'm still getting used to how I do my makeup. So we're running late. I really want to film a TikTok. Maybe we'll do it outside the restaurant. Also, I'm giving, oh, call me, beat me, if you want to reach me, if you want to pinch me, Kim Possible. Okay. Am I showing my age? Girl, Kim Possible was the best. Okay, non-toxic perfume or low toxic. I think everything's a little, sus these days. Low toxic perfume, Kim Possible. My makeup's cute. She's cute, right? Is this cute? Is it cute? Oh, let me get a thumbnail. Hold on. It's so cringy. Imagine my neighbor walking by and seeing me pose like that. Okay. Take my little purse. I've not shaved my armpits, so we're not gonna even go there. Hopefully no one's looking that close. Okay, I love you, besties. Bye.
Come a little closer. I wanna dance with you. Everything's moving slower. I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you do.
Okay, stop number 2 for my New York business trip. I'm going to Marshall's. I'm trying to find some sweats, pajamas, and then some business casual attire for my business conference. And then we're actually making the New York trip into a mini vacation after the business conference. So hopefully some cutie vacation clothes too. Let's go. By the way, I'm drinking an iced green tea, unsweetened, for polyphenols. I've told you ladies, polyphenols helps increase acromantia production in the gut, which is really great for reducing cortisol.
I've been waiting all my life for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up in the clouds. But I've always felt there's something.
Does anyone else get sensory overload at Marshall's? Just me. Just me. This is our roll. Okay.
You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good.
Okay, just picked up my shoes for my business trip and a few bras, just like the essentials for New York.
I've been waiting for the one forever. Finally, I got you, baby, here in my heart. When I'm with you, I feel so much better. Oh, yeah. Before you, I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark.